Hello and welcome to Smaulgld, Central Bank of Kazakhstan Gold Reserve Update for the month of January 2018. The Central Bank of Kazakhstan gold reserves now top 300 tons at the end of last year. They were just shy of 300 tons. And in January, with the addition of another 3.11 tons or 100,000 ounces, Kazakhstan now has well over 300 tons, and their reserves stand at 302.947 tons as the end of January 2018. That places them just about 7 tons lower than the gold reserves of the United Kingdom. Kazakhstan added 36 tons of gold, or about 1.163 million ounces in 2016, and they upped their game in 2017 and added 40 tons of gold, or about 1.286 tons of gold in 2017. As we've mentioned, that brings them to about 303 tons. It puts them squarely in 17th place within striking range of the United Kingdom, who is in 16th place. Now remember, the United Kingdom sold a significant portion of the gold reserves in the early 2000s. That's why they are no longer in the top 10 amongst central banks. So Kazakhstan, along with the Central Bank of Russia, is one of the few central banks that consistently adds gold to reserves. Indeed, the Central Bank of Kazakhstan is even more consistent than the Russian Central Bank, in that the Central Bank of Kazakhstan has now added gold to reserves 64 months in a row. As we mentioned yesterday, while the Central Bank of Russia does add a lot of gold to reserves and often adds over 1 million ounces of gold per month to reserves, and last year added 224 tons of gold in 1 year, which is almost the amount that Kazakhstan has in total, which is 303 tons. But the Central Bank of Russia has, on occasion, missed a month or two over the past few years in adding gold. So Kazakhstan is the most consistent in the world at adding gold to reserves, and they're getting that gold from their domestic gold supply. Kazakhstan is a large geographic country, but a relatively small economic power, and it does have, I think it's in the top 20 in terms of gold mining, and a lot of that gold, or some of that gold, ends up on the Central Bank of Kazakhstan's balance sheet. Let's just take a look here and see, to highlight the size of the country. They only have $31.3 billion in foreign reserves, which is adequate for their size, but 41.74% of those reserves are in the form of gold, or about $13 billion. Now, in contrast, Russia has $80 billion or $81 billion worth of gold, but their foreign reserves are about $450 billion, so a much larger size. But comparatively, Kazakhstan has a greater percentage of the reserves in gold than Russia does, and a far greater percentage than the People's Bank of China, which only has about 2% of their foreign reserves in gold. Here is the chart that shows you that Kazakhstan is within striking distance of catching the United Kingdom later this year, in a couple of months, and also possibly Saudi Arabia. If they add 40 tons of gold this year, well, then Saudi Arabia and the United Kingdom will be in the rearview mirror for Kazakhstan, and then sometime in 2019 or 20, Kazakhstan, if it continues at its pace, will pass Portugal. These are countries, most of the countries in the world are not adding gold to the reserves. Most of them are static positions. So Germany actually loses a little gold each year because it sells it to the German mint to make gold coins. The United States hasn't added gold since the 50s. Italy, France hasn't added gold. Switzerland hasn't added gold. Indeed, Switzerland has sold gold in the early 2000s. So most of the countries, other than recently in the last 10 years, other than China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkey, are basically just keeping their gold reserves flat, whereas the countries I just mentioned are adding gold to their reserves. If you'd like to add gold to your own reserves, please consider purchasing your gold through the Smaulgld site at the links below this BitChute, this YouTube, or on the Smaulgld website at SDBullion, BGSC.com, Golden Eagle Coins, and Money Metals Exchange. You can compare pricing and shipping at those links. You'll pay no more, no less than if you visited those links directly. It's not investment advice to buy gold or silver you can buy at those sites. But if you're going to do so, Smaulgld gets a small commission. So that is a way you can help out the site. If you're interested also in helping out the site, you can donate via PayPal, Litecoin, Bitcoin, or becoming a Smaulgld patron. I do appreciate those regular monthly contributions that I get, so thank you very much for that, and thanks for listening.